My friends, let me tell you something. There is power in detachment. And I'm not talking about shutting yourself off from love. No, I'm talking about living in a way that says, I am whole, I am enough, and I don't need anyone else to complete me. That energy, that's the kind of energy no man can resist. The concept of detachment often carries a negative connotation. People think it means being cold or uncaring. But true detachment is not about shutting yourself off from the world. It's about understanding your own value and not needing anyone else to validate it. When a woman practices detachment, she no longer depends on someone else's love, approval, or attention to feel complete. Instead, she looks inward for her self-worth, grounding herself in who she is, not in who she is with. Detachment allows you to free yourself from emotional dependence. For many women, this can be revolutionary. Too often, we get trapped in the cycle of seeking constant reassurance, validation, or affection from others. But detachment teaches us that our happiness should not be contingent on someone else's actions or feelings. When we learn to detach, we start to trust ourselves more, knowing that we are enough, with or without anyone else's approval. At the core of detachment lies self-love. It is an act of prioritizing your own emotional and mental well-being. Imagine walking into a room not worried about who will notice you or what others think of you. Detachment allows you to let go of that anxiety. It means stepping into your power with no fear of being judged because you know your worth. Self-love isn't about being selfish. It's about recognizing that you deserve peace, respect, and joy, regardless of your relationship status or external circumstances. By practicing detachment, you also learn to set healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not about building walls around yourself. They are about protecting your energy and safeguarding your well-being. When you understand that your happiness doesn't depend on someone else's actions, you can create clear, respectful boundaries without guilt. Detachment gives you the strength to say no when something or someone does not align with your values or needs. This is an act of profound self-respect. Detachment also brings with it a sense of freedom. When you are detached, you are no longer constantly analyzing and overthinking every action or word of another person. You let go of expectations and stop trying to control outcomes. You trust that things will unfold as they should, and you stop worrying about manipulating situations or people to fit your desires. This freedom is liberating. When you're not tethered to others' emotions, you can fully embrace your own. Living in detachment means you embrace your individuality. You are not defined by who you are with or how others see you. You are defined by your passions, your purpose, and your own internal compass. When you focus on your own growth, on being the best version of yourself, you don't have to worry about fitting into someone else's mold. The power of detachment lies in the ability to be wholly yourself without seeking permission or approval from anyone else. Detachment also nurtures inner peace. In relationships, whether romantic or platonic, it's easy to get caught up in drama, misunderstandings, or feelings of insecurity. But when you practice detachment, you maintain a sense of calm no matter what's going on around you. You no longer react out of fear or anxiety, but respond from a place of centered clarity. This inner peace allows you to navigate life with grace and confidence because you know that your sense of self isn't tied to the chaos or the ups and downs of others' emotions. Finally, detachment leads to true connection. When you are detached, You are not clinging to others out of neediness or fear of being alone. Instead, you can approach relationships with a sense of freedom, open to the other person without any agenda or pressure. Detachment allows relationships to flourish because you are engaging from a place of wholeness, not desperation. And the best part? The connections you form when you are detached are deeper, more genuine, and far more meaningful. Confidence is one of the most magnetic qualities a person can possess. It exudes strength, self-assurance, and independence, qualities that attract others naturally. When a woman is confident, she doesn't need to seek validation from anyone else. She doesn't rely on constant reassurance or attention from others to feel worthy. Instead, her self-worth comes from within, and this internal validation creates a powerful aura that draws people in. Confidence doesn't come from external sources. It's a reflection of knowing your own value and standing firm in it, no matter the circumstances. Clinginess, on the other hand, stems from fear and insecurity. It's a reaction driven by the belief that your worth is dependent on someone else's attention or affection. When you are clingy, you often look to others to fill the gaps that you believe exist within yourself. This type of behavior usually stems from a lack of confidence. You become reliant on others for validation, constantly seeking to be seen, heard, and affirmed. But the more you seek it, the less it comes. People can sense this neediness, and while it may momentarily attract attention, it often repels true connection. True confidence comes from an internal foundation. It's the deep, unshakable knowledge that you are enough, just as you are. When you operate from this place of confidence, you don't feel the need to chase or cling to anyone. You understand that the right people will be drawn to you without you having to convince them of your worth. Confidence allows you to set healthy boundaries because you know that your value isn't up for negotiation. You no longer settle for relationships or situations that don't align with your self-respect and values. Being confident means being comfortable with yourself. When you love who you are, flaws and all, you are no longer afraid of being alone or misunderstood. Confidence isn't about arrogance or perfection. It's about embracing your authentic self. This authenticity radiates outward, and others are naturally attracted to it. You stop seeking external sources to define you, because you have already defined yourself. People are drawn to genuine, unshakable confidence because it gives them permission to be confident in themselves, too. In relationships, clinginess can suffocate. When we cling to others, we place unrealistic expectations on them to fulfill all of our emotional needs. This creates a sense of dependency that is unhealthy and draining. Confidence, however, allows for healthy interdependence. It fosters relationships where both individuals can thrive as whole, independent people while also supporting and lifting each other up. There's no pressure to complete one another because each person is already complete, contributing their best self to the relationship. Confidence in oneself also leads to emotional resilience. When you are confident, you are less likely to be swayed by the opinions of others or the inevitable ups and downs of life. You don't take rejection or criticism personally because your sense of self is not built on the approval of others. Cleanliness, on the other hand, often comes from a place of emotional fragility. When you need someone's constant attention or approval, your emotional state can easily be rocked by any perceived slight or lack of attention. Confidence, in contrast, helps you weather the storms of life with grace and poise, knowing that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. In a world that often rewards instant gratification and external validation, confidence is a rare and valuable quality. While others may be chasing after the next fleeting compliment or trying to please others at the expense of their own happiness, Confident women walk to the beat of their own drum. They don't need external affirmation to feel good about themselves. They understand that true fulfillment comes from living authentically, from following their passions, and from cultivating inner peace. This quiet confidence is what draws people to them because it speaks to a deep level of self-assuredness that is both powerful and inspiring. Finally, confidence helps you cultivate a sense of peace that cleanliness can never offer. When you're constantly clinging to someone or something for affirmation, you live in a state of anxiety and fear of losing it. But with confidence, you experience a deep sense of calm because you know that your worth is not tied to any external person or outcome. You are at peace with who you are, and that peace becomes a magnet, drawing people towards you in a way that feels natural and effortless. Confidence doesn't need to chase, it simply attracts. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful acts of self-love a person can practice. It's an essential way to honor your own needs, protect your energy, and ensure that your emotional, physical, and mental well-being come first. Boundaries are not about creating walls to shut people out. They are about understanding and communicating your limits clearly. When you set healthy boundaries, you teach others how to treat you and what you are willing to accept. In essence, setting boundaries is a way of saying, I love myself enough to not allow anything or anyone to compromise my peace. For many people, the idea of setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable. It's often misunderstood as selfishness or harshness. But the truth is, boundaries are not about being rude or unkind. They are about being respectful of your own time, energy, and emotions. When you establish boundaries, you are communicating to the world that you have value, that you are worthy of respect, and that your needs matter. It's not about pushing others away. It's about ensuring that you don't give so much of yourself that you lose who you are. Setting boundaries is also a form of self-respect. Without boundaries, we can easily become overextended, burnt out, or overwhelmed by the demands of others. We can find ourselves saying yes to things we don't want to do or overcommitting to people who drain us, all in the name of being kind or helpful. But this is not kindness, it's self-neglect. By setting boundaries, we learn to prioritize our own needs, recognizing that we are not obligated to meet every request or demand that comes our way. Respecting ourselves enough to say no is the first step in creating a balanced, fulfilling life. Relationships. When you set boundaries, you are also teaching others how to treat you. Without clear boundaries, people may unknowingly take advantage of your time, energy, or kindness. They might expect you to be available at all hours, or demand more of you than you can realistically give. By setting boundaries, you let others know where you stand, what is acceptable and what is not. This establishes a sense of mutual respect in relationships as both parties understand and honor each other's limits. Setting boundaries is a form of self-advocacy. It's standing up for your own well-being and making sure others do the same. One of the most important aspects of setting boundaries is knowing your worth. When you truly understand your value, you won't settle for less than what you deserve. This might mean walking away from toxic relationships, declining invitations that don't align with your values, or saying no to requests that would compromise your time or energy. Boundaries are an expression of self-love because they say, I know my worth, and I am not willing to compromise it for anyone or anything. By setting boundaries, you stop accepting less than what you truly need to thrive. Setting boundaries also helps you avoid resentment. When you don't establish clear limits, you may end up doing things out of obligation rather than genuine desire. Over time, this leads to frustration, burnout, and resentment. You might feel taken for granted or unappreciated. But when you set boundaries, you only commit to what aligns with your values and what you are truly willing to give. This creates space for more joy, fulfillment, and peace, because you are no longer stretched thin by the demands of others. Another key element of setting boundaries is honoring your time and energy. Time is one of the most valuable resources we have, and when you fail to set boundaries around it, you risk spending your days on things that don't serve you. Whether it's work, social obligations, or taking care of others, without boundaries, you can easily find yourself overwhelmed and depleted. By setting boundaries, you reclaim your time, using it for the things that truly matter to you, whether that's rest, pursuing your passions, or nurturing relationships that bring you joy. Finally, setting boundaries allows you to cultivate healthier relationships. When both parties respect each other's boundaries, relationships become more balanced and less prone to unhealthy dynamics. People who honor your boundaries are more likely to value and appreciate you, while relationships that violate those boundaries often lead to feelings of frustration and resentment. By setting clear and consistent boundaries, you create space for relationships that are supportive, respectful, and fulfilling. Boundaries protect your energy and ensure that your connections are rooted in mutual respect, love, and understanding. Emotional detachment is often misunderstood as being emotionally distant or uncaring, but is far from coldness. It's an essential practice that allows individuals to protect their emotional well-being while still engaging fully with life and relationships. Emotional detachment doesn't mean shutting off your feelings or becoming indifferent to others. Rather, it's about detaching from the outcome of situations and not allowing your emotions to be entirely governed by external factors or the actions of others. It's an empowered way to navigate the world without losing yourself in the emotional turbulence that sometimes surrounds us. At its core, emotional detachment is about maintaining inner peace regardless of external circumstances. Life often brings unpredictable events, and relationships can be filled with ups and downs. If we attach too strongly to these emotional highs and lows, we can lose our sense of balance. Emotional detachment allows us to process and acknowledge our feelings, but not let them dictate our actions or sense of self. It's a way of saying, I am not defined by this moment or by someone else's actions, which brings a sense of emotional resilience and freedom. One key aspect of emotional detachment is learning to let go of unhealthy attachments. Often we form emotional attachments to people, places, or outcomes that may not serve our highest good. These attachments can lead to disappointment, hurt, and frustration when things don't unfold as we expect. Emotional detachment helps us loosen the grip we have on these attachments, giving us the space to heal and grow. When we detach from these unhealthy dependencies, we begin to reclaim our emotional energy and prioritize our own well-being over external validation or approval. Emotional detachment also empowers us to set healthy boundaries. When we are emotionally attached to someone or something, we may allow our boundaries to be blurred or compromised. We might accept behavior that is hurtful, tolerate disrespect, or give away more of our time and energy than we should. Detachment doesn't mean withdrawing or becoming distant, but rather knowing when to say no to things that threaten our emotional peace. It's an expression of self-love and self-respect as we protect ourselves from the drain of toxic dynamics or relationships. It's important to understand that emotional detachment is not about avoidance. Some people confuse detachment with running away from their emotions or experiences, but that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, emotional detachment requires a higher level of emotional awareness and maturity. It's about feeling your emotions without letting them overpower you. It's not suppressing feelings or pretending that everything is okay when it's not. It's about acknowledging your emotions, processing them in a healthy way, and then releasing them when they no longer serve you. Detachment allows you to experience life fully without becoming consumed by it. Another benefit of emotional detachment is the ability to detach from the past. Many of us hold on to past experiences, whether positive or negative, that continue to shape our emotional state. Emotional detachment teaches us to live in the present moment, free from the weight of past pain or regret. It's about releasing the emotional baggage that keeps us stuck and prevents us from moving forward. By detaching from the past, we open ourselves to new possibilities and experiences, unburdened by old wounds or limiting beliefs. When practiced correctly, emotional detachment also enhances our ability to love without attachment. In relationships, attachment can sometimes lead to possessiveness, insecurity, or unhealthy dependence. These dynamics can suffocate the relationship and prevent it from growing authentically. Emotional detachment allows us to love others without placing unrealistic expectations or demands on them. It means supporting and caring for someone without feeling that their actions or feelings directly impact our sense of self. In this way, emotional detachment actually strengthens relationships, allowing both people to flourish independently while still sharing deep, meaningful connections. Ultimately, emotional detachment is a practice of inner strength and freedom. It allows us to navigate life with greater emotional stability, no longer swayed by every challenge or emotional fluctuation. When we detach emotionally, we are not cold or indifferent. We are simply free from the emotional drama that can often cloud our judgment and happiness. This emotional freedom empowers us to live with greater clarity, make decisions based on what is best for us, and approach relationships from a place of wholeness rather than neediness. Emotional detachment is a tool for creating a more balanced, peaceful, and fulfilling life. There is something undeniably magnetic about mystery. People are drawn to it naturally because it creates an air of curiosity and intrigue. When we talk about the magic of mystery, we're referring to the allure that comes with maintaining a sense of unpredictability and depth. It's about allowing others to glimpse only a fraction of who you are, keeping certain parts of your personality or story reserved for those who take the time to truly understand you. Mystery isn't about hiding your true self. Rather, it's about giving people space to wonder and discover, which is a powerful way to cultivate interest and connection. One of the key elements of mystery is not revealing everything at once. In a world where everything is instant and overshared, there's beauty in holding some parts of your life back. When we give too much too soon, we lose the opportunity for others to engage with us in a deeper way. Mystery creates an opportunity for people to invest in understanding us over time. This builds connection based on curiosity, respect, and the desire to know more. It's in the moments of subtlety and silence that we can make the most profound impact, allowing others to appreciate and value us more deeply. The magic of mystery is tied to the idea of self-containment, being so comfortable and confident with who you are that you don't feel the need to constantly share or seek validation. A woman who embraces mystery knows that she doesn't have to explain herself, over-explain her actions, or justify her choices. She is enough just as she is. This self-assurance makes her presence powerful because she isn't dependent on others to define her. Many of us, so she moves through life with a quiet confidence that speaks volumes without needing to say much at all. When we allow ourselves to be a bit mysterious, we also give ourselves space to grow. By not laying all our cards on the table, we create room for evolution. Mystery allows us to change and grow without the pressure of constantly having to present ourselves in a fixed or predictable way. It's in this space of change that we can explore different facets of our personality, try new things, and discover what resonates with us most. The more we embrace the mystery within ourselves, the more we allow ourselves to evolve authentically, free from the constraints of expectations or labels. There's also a sense of power in mystery. When people don't know everything about you, they are compelled to pay attention to what you reveal, often trying to decipher what lies beneath the surface. This power doesn't come from manipulation or control. It comes from the simple act of choosing what you share and when. When you withhold certain parts of yourself, you retain control over your narrative. You become the author of your own story, revealing only what you choose in the moment, which makes people more interested in learning more about you. The magic of mystery is also reflected in anticipation. People are often drawn to what they cannot have immediately. It's the unknown that creates excitement, curiosity, and even longing. When we leave room for people to wonder about us, we allow them to experience the thrill of getting to know us slowly. This kind of anticipation creates emotional investment as people become more interested in discovering who we really are over time. It's not about playing games or being elusive. It's about creating a natural rhythm of connection where discovery happens organically. Being a bit mysterious doesn't mean being distant or unapproachable. In fact, mystery can enhance connection in a way that feels inviting and engaging. The key is in the balance, being open, but also allowing for some space. It's about sharing aspects of your life and personality with intention and without oversharing. You don't have to give everything away to make an impact. Sometimes the most meaningful connections come from the moments where we leave something unsaid or unexplored, allowing room for curiosity to foster deeper engagement. Finally, the magic of mystery is deeply tied to confidence and independence. A woman who embraces her own mystery is someone who is not afraid to be alone with herself. She knows her worth and doesn't feel the need to be constantly validated or understood by others. This quiet self-assurance makes her presence even more magnetic. She is not seeking attention. Rather, she exudes a sense of calm and contentment that draws people in. Her mystery comes from a place of knowing herself deeply and having the courage to remain true to who she is, without the need to reveal every detail of her life or personality to the world. Self-fulfillment is the foundation upon which meaningful, lasting connections are built. When we are whole and content within ourselves, we radiate an energy that naturally draws others to us. Self-fulfillment is not about being perfect or having everything figured out. Rather, it's about nurturing our inner desires, passions, and goals without relying on others to complete us. It's about knowing that we are enough as we are, and that true happiness comes from within. This self-assuredness creates an aura of attraction, pulling people toward us who resonate with that same energy of independence and contentment. One of the core aspects of self-fulfillment is authenticity. When we are fulfilled, we no longer feel the need to pretend or put on a facade to gain approval. We are free to be ourselves, to express our true thoughts, feelings, and desires without fear of judgment. Authenticity is magnetic because it creates a safe space for others to do the same. People are drawn to those who are unapologetically themselves because it gives them permission to embrace their own true selves. And the more we are fulfilled within, the more we inspire others to be real and true in their own lives. Self-fulfillment also leads to emotional independence, which is vital for attracting genuine relationships. When we rely on others to fulfill our emotional needs, we often create dependency that can become draining or unbalanced. But when we are fulfilled in ourselves, we can engage in relationships from a place of balance and mutual respect. We no longer seek others to complete us because we already feel whole. This emotional independence fosters healthier dynamics, where each person brings their best self to the relationship, creating space for a deeper and more authentic connection. The act of pursuing our passions and dreams, no matter how big or small, is an important part of self-fulfillment. Purpose gives us a sense of direction and clarity in life, making us feel aligned with our true selves. When we are actively working toward our goals, we become more confident, more driven, and more engaging. People are naturally attracted to those who are passionate and purposeful, as it shows a sense of dedication and self-motivation. A fulfilled person's energy is contagious. When they are living their life with purpose, they inspire those around them to find their own. Self-fulfillment also creates a profound sense of self-respect. When we invest time in our own growth, well-being, and happiness, we send a clear message to the world that we value ourselves. This self-respect becomes evident in how we treat others and how we set boundaries. We don't tolerate disrespect or settle for relationships that don't serve us because we know our worth. People are drawn to this self-respect because it sets a standard for how they should treat us. It also encourages others to respect themselves more, creating a culture of mutual respect and admiration. True connections are built on mutual emotional maturity. Self-fulfillment allows us to understand and process our emotions, which is key to navigating relationships with grace. When we are emotionally fulfilled, we can respond to challenges in a relationship with empathy, patience, and understanding. We don't project our unmet needs or insecurities onto others, but instead engage with them from a place of emotional stability. This emotional maturity allows for communication that is open, honest, and compassionate, which is essential for fostering strong, meaningful connections. The more we invest in our own self-fulfillment, the more we create space for others to do the same. In relationships, this means we are not seeking to fix or save anyone, but instead we are walking beside others in their own journey of self-discovery and growth. This mutual respect for each other's personal journeys allows for genuine support and encouragement. People who are fulfilled don't feel threatened by the success or happiness of others. They celebrate it, knowing that their own happiness is not diminished by someone else's achievements. True connection is about sharing experiences and supporting each other in our individual growth. Self-fulfillment also creates an inner peace that radiates outward. People are naturally drawn to those who are calm, grounded, and content within themselves. This inner peace doesn't come from external sources. It is a result of investing time and energy into what makes us happy, healthy, and whole. When we are fulfilled, we have an aura of tranquility and confidence that naturally attracts others. The peace that comes from self-fulfillment is magnetic because it invites others to relax and be themselves, creating a space for true and authentic connections to thrive.